T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engines full power. And lift off with Starlink 5-2. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
Mission downrange.
As you can see, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Pad 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, carrying 56 Starlink satellites. Now, the M1D engines on the first stage are about to throttle down in preparation for max Q,
Power and telemetry nominal.
or the moment of maximum loads on the vehicle, which occurs just after T plus 1 minute.
Supersonic.
Falcon 9 is now traveling faster than the speed of sound.
Max Q.
And there, Falcon 9 has reached the maximum dynamic pressure that it will feel during flight. At this point, we're about 1 minute until main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation and second engine start. Those events happen in very quick succession, one right after the other. Following along with the telemetry at the bottom left-hand side of your screen, we can see that Falcon 9 is now 36 kilometers above the Earth's surface, quickly gaining.
Go.
Stage separation confirmed.
And back in engine.
Bearing separation confirmed.
Right, and there's our first look of our Starlink satellite payload this evening on there, formerly on the right-hand side of your screen. Right-hand side will be that second stage tracking camera. Left-hand side of your screen will be the first stage. You can just barely make out the lights of the Florida Space Coast there in the top left-hand corner of that left side screen. Both of the fairing halves flying on today's mission are flight proven. One of those halves flew for the 5th time and the other a 6th. We will attempt to recover those fairing halves again using our recovery vessel, Bob. Today's mission marks SpaceX's 6th launch of the year. As a reminder, Starlink is a satellite internet constellation designed and manufactured by SpaceX to provide high-speed, low-latency internet to people living in remote and rural locations around the globe. Checking in with that stage 1 telemetry there at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, we can see that that first stage is no longer gaining in altitude. It is close to its apogee. So currently it's still going.
Acquisition of signal, Bermuda.
Currently it's still going up, though a lot slower than it was, as we saw, and now it has begun to descend. It's now reached its apogee and it will begin to make its way back to planet Earth, targeting a landing on our drone ship. Just read the instructions. Everything looking nominal there with that second stage. Carries Starlink satellites. Starlink is currently live in 44 countries and 54 markets around the world.
Both vehicles following nominal trajectories.
The next event we have coming up in 1 minute will be the stage 1 entry burn. That will be the first of 2 burns that the first stage will perform this morning. That burn includes reigniting 3 of those M1D engines. We relight the center engine as well as 2 radial engines to perform that entry burn, which helps slow the booster down as it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. You can see that altitude is now decreasing rather quickly. That entry burn will help slow that vehicle down. Ten seconds away from entry burn startup.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
That call out, that burn has begun.
Stage 2 FTS is saved. Stage 1 FTS is saved.
Stage 1, also known as the booster, has ignited the 3 engines to slow it down for that atmospheric re-entry.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
As I mentioned
Both
earlier,
vehicles continue to follow nominal trajectories.
the first stage flying today is flying for the 9th time.
Expected loss of signal, Cape. Stage 1 is transonic.
There we heard that call out indicating that the first stage is sonic, meaning it's traveling near the speed of sound. And in about 22 seconds, we should have that landing burn on the first stage.
Terminal guidance.
That landing burn includes 1 engine, where we relight the center engine, attempt to land on our drone ship.
Stage 1 landing burn.
That landing burn has now begun.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing is confirmed.
There we can see on the left-hand side of your screen that the first stage has stuck the landing once again. Great view from our drone ship just made the instructions. Parked a couple hundred miles off the coast of Florida.
Orbit insertion.
And we also just heard the call out that we have a good orbit for the second stage. At this point in time, that second stage is carrying those 56 Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit. And with our Starlink satellites in orbit, that MVAC engine, beautiful horizon there, Earth in the background behind those Starlinks. Now with those in orbit, we'll bring our webcast